first thing that I would ask is why you invest in early stage science.
Mm. Well,
And
that's critical, isn't it? I mean, I know the history of federal funding, right, has just gone downhill since the early 2000s. There's a real gap there, and if you believe, as Eric and I do, that science is knowledge, science is power, not just for individuals, but for societies, internationally, politically. We need to be investing in basic science. And this is, especially in this day and age, I think we're in a new age of discovery when I think about all the tools that we have to use, right? And all the ways that we can combine disciplines in ways we never could before for insights we never would have had. I mean, I grew up in an era when science was in silos. It was practiced in private, right? People got results and wrote papers, and years went by. And it was very clear to me when Eric and I started our philanthropy, particularly at the Schmidt Ocean Institute in 2009, that we were going to ask all the scientists who came on board Falcor to use our facilities and our equipment and everything at no charge, that in exchange for this, they would share their data openly as they could, right, across the world, because this would advance ocean science. This would help accelerate something we need to understand so desperately about a system that is our life support on Earth. So that's just one example of where, we have to bring new ideas into this enterprise. And they start from early research that takes us in directions we didn't think we'd go in, we didn't plan to go in. But those are the things that give us, new insights. And with respect to policy, you can't create new policies without new information, without new ways of seeing the world. I think we're very lucky that we live in a time when that's possible. And as philanthropists, we think that's our responsibility.
That is really wonderful. And this encouragement of open source and sharing of information, I think when important efforts like yours promote that, it then disseminates through the rest of the system.
Well, I hope it does. When we first announced this as our intention at Schmidt Ocean Institute, it was met with some dismay, I have to say. And a lot of scientists at our first meeting in Honolulu really didn't love it. And they really were afraid that, their system would be upset, that their work would be stolen or used by other people and they wouldn't get credit. I think we do have a problem in the academy that co-authors are not often given the credit that they should. I'd like to promote lots more collaboration among scientists and those who are writing papers and publishing, and to find a way forward in the academy where that is recognized as contributions. It is career building. It would be better to encourage that to me than it would be to discourage it.
And your philanthropy has also encouraged interdisciplinary approaches to science. And I think also that we believe this is leading to more innovative outcomes.
And we do hope that's true. Our Schmidt Science Fellows program is in its 6th cohort right now. And this is where we have a 2-year cycle where postdocs leave their discipline and go work in a lab, something they didn't study at all. Can be related, can be unrelated. And you get some very interesting mix-ups, but also out of that insight can come new approaches to solving problems, whether that's drug discovery. A lot of it involves bringing computer science or AI into a discipline where it really wasn't a factor. And when you make it a factor, you can really accelerate what you're doing in a lab. And you can, examine hundreds and thousands of more cases of something than you could if you just did them one at a time by yourself. And machine learning and AI are going to be an enormous part of the transformation of science in our lifetimes. So we have to get ready for it. The other thing that I would observe from the rest of the philanthropy we do that isn't strictly science is this notion that the world we are seeing since I was a child is increasingly interconnected. It's kind of something poets and philosophers always talked about, but we're really, really seeing it now in the digital age, right? If you lose your cell phone, let's just say you feel like your arm got cut off. You've lost some essential connection to the society around you and the people you have to talk to, right? We are deeply interconnected, and so is the world. And the more we look, whether it's in the ocean or in the soil or out into space, the more we see. And the more we need to go back and examine the paradigms that led us here in the first place, because they might be wrong. There might be much more to everything than we know. There are papers being written now about consciousness itself existing in everything that is alive, and maybe things that aren't. So we just don't know. And it's really foolish as a human society to move forward with exploitation technologies or extractive industries that we already know are harming things without really understanding what's happening. We need a moratorium on things like deep sea mining. Every time we look, we see something we didn't expect to see in the deep ocean. In places people said were deserts, well, they're not deserts, right? There might be something very critical for human life that is there. It's like we have to rethink, what is this all for? I always ask this of our Schmidt Sciences folks. I say, why are we doing this? What's it for?
Mm.
Well, it's not for the trees. It's not for the sky. It's not really for the ocean. It's for humans. It's for us to
Right.
live not only healthier, better lives with better lifetimes for more people, but also to have a world that is more resilient, that we understand, right? We say sustainable. Let's just say resilient and healthy and secure. Science can help us get there. And that's why it's fundamental for us.
Wendy, thank you so much. I mean, this is really, just a great way of encapsulating your philosophy and what all of us who are at this workshop hope to dedicate ourselves to. So thank you so much for your efforts for this community. And congratulations on receiving this award for us and from us. But thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm thrilled to be part of this community. We have some of the most important work in the world to accomplish in our lifetimes. So let's
Yes.
do it.
No, it's really true. It's such an exciting time to be alive. There are lots of challenges, but we also have more tools and also more diverse groups of researchers who are dedicated towards these goals of sustainability and
Yeah.
creating a better future.
And it's very exciting to talk to, say, our young fellows and even the juries that select them, just to listen to the innovative ways they think about the problems they want to solve.
Right.
Make the jurors go back to their home institutions inspired, interested. Doors are opening, right? Fresh air is blowing through, and with it, so much opportunity. And we want to spread that opportunity across, all kinds of people who didn't have access to these kinds of things before. That's a very important thing for us is to be listening as well as learning, right?
Mm.
We do a lot of work now with Indigenous people. There's a lot of wisdom in societies that existed without our technology for tens of thousands of years. They know things about the soil, things about plants, things about natural cycles. It's time to turn our attention both outwards and forwards, but also look backwards.